Meanwhile, guess who's complaining about terrorism? Pakistan. It's the mother of all ironies. They spent decades using terrorism as state policy, but now they have problems with it. Why? Because those same terrorists are attacking Pakistan. Let's look at the complaint first. It came from Pakistan's ambassador to the United Nations. He was addressing a special meeting on weapons, especially small and light weapons. There he called for a campaign to recover arms from terror groups. There was special reference to one, the TTP or the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Let me quote from Islamabad's statement. Terrorists and criminals do not manufacture these arms. They acquire them from illicit arms markets or receive them from entities that want to destabilize a particular region or country. How about that? It's like one of those second-grade tests. The teacher has asked Pakistan to write an essay about itself, and this is the perfect answer, a country that gives weapons to destabilize another country. Pakistan has been doing it to India. Hundreds of Pakistani weapons have been found in Kashmir. They were used by terror groups to spread chaos. Was that not problematic? Back then, Islamabad said nothing. They kept funding and arming terrorists in Kashmir. So why the outrage now? Because this time, Pakistan is the victim. Let me tell you about the TTP, the group they're complaining about. It's a largely Pashtun terror group in Pakistan. It also has ties with the Afghan Taliban. They're sort of like ideological cousins. The TTP's fight is against the Pakistani state. They want to capture power. They want to run the country based on Sharia, basically replicate what happened in Kabul. And this group is on a roll. TTP attacks increased by 60%, 60, in the last 2 years. Almost 800 attacks were reported in 2023. They resulted in more than 1,500 deaths, many of them security personnel. And 2 provinces are the worst affected, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. Together, they make up 84% of the attacks and 90% of all the deaths. And that tells a story, because both these provinces also border Afghanistan. Islamabad has asked Kabul to control the TTP, but the Taliban have refused to do it. They have given safe haven to TTP fighters near the border. They've also given them weapons. And not just any weapons, American weapons. When the US withdrew from Afghanistan, they left behind a lot of weapons, some $7 billion of arms. Reports say the TTP is using some of these American weapons. We're talking about deadly equipment here, like M16 machine guns and M4 assault rifles, which brings us to Pakistan's latest complaint. They're unable to handle this threat, so they want global support. An appeal was made in March as well. Pakistan used the United Nations Security Council to build pressure on Kabul. They said Afghanistan should rein in the TTP. But like I said, no luck. The world has more than enough on its plate. There are 2 major wars, a looming conflict in the South China Sea and a resurgent ISIS in Africa. So Pakistan's TTP problem is not on top of the agenda. Nonetheless, Islamabad will keep raising it. They are wooing investors from China and West Asia, but all of them are demanding security. They want their assets to be safe. So Pakistan's economy is also pinned on fighting the TTP. Plus, they need military aid. The US halted Pakistan's aid program in 2018. Some of it has been resumed under Joe Biden, but Pakistan's army will want more. All of this explains their decision to raise the issue at the United Nations. Pakistan wants to globalize the TTP problem. But again, 2 questions remain. Number 1, will it work? Looks unlikely right now. Pakistan cultivated multiple terror groups to bleed its neighbors, whether it was India or Afghanistan. Now, those same terrorists are targeting Pakistan. It's a self-created problem. So Pakistan will get little sympathy. And question number 2, will it make Pakistan change its policy on terrorism? Again, unlikely. Yesterday, 2 terrorists were killed in Kashmir. The Indian Army says both were Pakistani residents. They belong to the Lashkar-e-Toiba. And who supports the Lashkar-e-Toiba? The Pakistan government. So TTP or not, Islamabad will not change its ways. They will always have their good and bad terrorists.